Hi everyone, welcome to the Millionaire Purpose Discovery Program. My name is Blessing Theophilus Israel. I'm so excited to be interviewing Ayo Akinde. Ayo is actually a general management consultant with the NHS. The NHS, in case you're not in the UK, Ayo will actually explain it. I'm not going to explain. And he's also the founding team member of Connect for Better, which is a networking organization platform that I'm actually a part of. I love attending their events. So Ayo, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
And Ayo, please share with our viewers and our students what you do.
Okay, well, I've recently started as a consultant with the NHS. NHS is the National Health Service. And I work with one of the professional organizations in there. And we provide consultancy services to the NHS as a whole. And those services varies from project management to process improvement and across depending on exactly what is needed by the client and what we sell. So that's what I do. That's my day job.
Yeah.
And my other job, which Blessing has introduced, is also, I'm privileged and fortunate to be one of the founding members of Connect for Better, C4B for short. And amongst many things that we do, we run networking events as well. And we're particularly just focused on helping or giving back to the African community and helping us get better in one way or the other. Thank you.
Thank you. Ayo, I love the Connect for Better events because whenever I attend, you get speakers who are at the top of their game within the African community.
Yeah.
So you show us who attend that, look, just because you're of a certain color or of a certain background doesn't mean that you have to remain at the bottom.
Correct.
You can actually rise.
Correct.
And so it's a lovely environment where you get to network with people of like-minded, I would say, mentality.
Yes.
Yeah.
One of our goals or one of our aims of starting that is just to create an environment that allows people to be inspired by these role models and brings people together from different fields, profession, and age as well, I guess, so that we can learn from each other, be inspired, and hopefully we can get mentors, we can get coaches, we can get guidance from people and learn what people do, until therefore we become better. Sometimes for those of us of color, as we like to refer to ourselves, or as we are referred to, sometimes we are limited by what we know and that exposure. So that's one of our aim just to bring ourselves together as Africans, and we've been going on for 2 years, actually 2 years in June, so it's been good.
Excellent.
Thank you.
So Ayo, what would you say is your main purpose? Because there's a lot of things you do. As you said, you do your day job, which you're very good at, I have no doubt. And then you also do your evening job, your 6 to 10 job, where you actually bring people together and you basically inspire them, because you speak at that event and I've heard you and you're very, lovely and warm and inspirational.
I hope so.
So what would you say is your main purpose really in life?
My purpose is basically to help others become better. It's to inspire people. I'm actually a teacher. I'm called by God and by grace, and I've known that for many years. So I teach. That's what I do, but not as a conventional teacher.
Okay.
Which is why one of the things I'm involved with is C4B. I'm involved in a few other things, church work as well. So I'm also a teacher there as well. But one of my ways of demonstrating my purpose in life is not to be a conventional teacher where I stand in front of students alone, but to teach using examples, using role models, using success guides for people to see and inspire them, and then by one-to-one coaching as well. So that's my purpose in life.
Okay. And how would you say you came to discover that this is actually your God-given purpose? Because, for example, you mentioned the teaching and you said you've known that for a long time. So I know finding your purpose is actually a journey.
It is.
So please describe to our students who are watching how you came to discover your purpose.
Purpose is a big word, and sometimes we can become a bit confused. Depending on which environment we are, either in a religious environment or otherwise. Or outside of that. But purpose is a big word, and for me, it's a journey like you described as well. Sometimes you might know the end and you might not know the process or how to implement what it is that your purpose is. So for me, I was quite fortunate. I saw that in a dream.
Oh.
Very many years ago as a young person in university.
Okay.
So I'm sure I'm one of the few people that are blessed.
Amen.
I'll say in that regard. So I got that revelation, and it wasn't very difficult for me as well, because on reflection, even at that time, even though I was a younger person, relating it and exploring how my journey has been till that time. So from a young age, for example, I teach my age mates, I understand complex methodologies, processes quite early amongst my people. I'm the youngest in class. So those kind of things, once you get to the point where either you get it like I got it as kind of a revelation, once you play it back and you reflect on it, it kind of makes sense. And then you can then begin to join the dots together. Now, where it's a journey is, there are many ways of implementing that. So, for example, I said my purpose is a teacher. For example, I am a teacher called to be. Now, I can be a conventional teacher. Now, the question is how, where, when. Is it for life? Is it for a period of time? Is it supposed to be in a school? Is it supposed to be in a church? Is it supposed to be as a trainer? So now that's the journey part of it. And that will change from time to time,
sure,
as you understand a few other things.
Yeah.
Which is why purpose as a word is complex. But once you put your mind to it, for me it's answering the question, why am I here? Mm-hmm. Once you understand that, why am I here? And then you can continue to join the dots together as you go along.
Excellent. And I'm really excited about this dream you had, because I also had a revelation about what I'm supposed to be doing through a dream. Sure. So do you care to share with our viewers? Because if I don't ask, they won't get the opportunity to ask. So please share.
Unfortunately, with us. It's not something I share. So okay. I hope the viewers and students will not, because sometimes we might suddenly find ourselves putting ourselves in a box.
Sure.
Because once I say that I saw a dream and I described my dream, then one or two people might then hold on to it because it doesn't come like that, or once you see something. So my long and short for me is, my advice to viewers and students is pay attention to it. Always just know it at the back of your mind that we're all here for a particular purpose. We're all in every circumstance, every situation for a particular purpose. Once you keep asking the question, and if, for example, if you are out there and you're quite spiritual as well, it helps as well. Once you put your mind to it to ask the question, why am I here? You get some kind of answer depending on who you are. So like I said, if you're spiritual, it might come as a revelation. It might come because as a result of association with people. Yeah. It might come from your mentor, for example, by guide. It might come from your coach as well, by guide. But once you put your mind to it, you'll find the answer. Yeah. There's no one way, there's no one cap fits all. So I'm wary of sharing. In fact, I'm wary of saying this kind of things, because I don't want people to put ourselves in a box.
Sure. No, that's fine.
Good.
So since you had the revelation,
yes,
and now it's been at some time, I presume.
Yes.
What kind of challenges have you had to overcome to get to this stage now?
Well, it depends what you call challenges. For me, what challenges, first of all, is ensuring that every day you understand how you are meeting that. So, for example, I started working in a bank, for example, and I had a very glorious job back home in Nigeria. And I was one of the high flyers. But I knew my purpose before. I knew it wasn't to write credit. I knew it wasn't to do what I was doing. I had the skills, I had the competency. But again, it's about asking yourself every morning when you wake up, I can do this. And I was earning money. Through the grace of God, if I'm permitted to say that, I became a millionaire quite early enough in life by working in a bank. But a challenge for me was, no, that's not what you know you're supposed to be doing. So I found myself, again, by privilege, being in the training school. I started to train. I started to be one of the trainers in the training school for the bank, and I did that for 5 years as a lead trainer. So it's about, it's the hard work of making sure that you're still in line, because there's a confusion and let me not say it's a confusion, there's a temptation because we can do certain things that might not be your purpose, and you might be making money, for example, from it. But for me, what I describe as challenge is to ensure that you get the balance right. Sometimes what you describe as why you are here, particularly that big answer, might not be fetching you the million now.
Sure.
So the challenge is what fetches money now, or millionaire if you're a millionaire, or if you're working towards it, what is it that gives me money now, and what is it that I'm called to do?
Yeah.
The challenge is finding a way to make sure that it converges.
Yeah.
And staying, even when it does, you might then find yourself that it diverges again. So the challenge for me is finding a way to make sure that it stays together.
Yeah.
And once you do that, you find fulfillment. If you're not doing the purpose, if you're only making money, the satisfaction is not there. And you know, depending if you're a spiritual person, you know that you're not really hitting it in the nail on the head. So that's what I describe as challenges for you.
Okay, excellent.
Does that answer your question?
No, it does. It really does.
Okay.
Because, like you said, on the one hand, you may have your purpose, your big reason as to why you're here.
Yes.
On the other hand, you need to live.
Correct.
So how do you find a way to merge the two?
Correct.
And I think for us, that's why this program is called Millionaire Purpose Discovery. Because in my mind, everything I'm doing is because I found my purpose, and then I'm finding a way to share it with people.
Correct.
And I find that as I'm sharing it with people, that's how the money is actually coming. Whereas I think some people don't take the time to actually find that purpose, and they just pursue the money. But then if the purpose is lacking, you will never really find that fulfillment.
Correct. You never really be meeting why you're supposed to be here. You'll just be existing. And at some point, I think a few people will know it because they feel emptiness, even though you might have money, even though you might have a good job. So we've heard people say things like, I left my job, I left my 6-figure, 7-figure job, and they've gone into something else because you find the emptiness. So it's a big challenge for us all, whatever it is that we're called to do. And the big reason why we are here, to make sure that it fits well. And so that's why I like what you're trying to do, to expose to people that it's important for us to find our purpose, why we are here, and make sure that it marries into what we're doing. And hopefully, we'll make money out of it.
The things you're doing with Connect for Better.
Yes.
And I know with Connect for Better, you're reaching out to hundreds of people.
Correct.
Usually when I come, the room is packed.
Correct.
So if there's someone who's thinking, oh, Ayo, the things you're doing, I'm really interested, but how do I know whether this is my God-given purpose? What advice would you give to them about how they can find out?
So first of all, there's an awareness, which is why what Blessing is doing today is fantastic. We all need to be aware that there's a reason why we are here. There's nobody here for a vacuum. However, that awareness might divide into a couple of segments, which might include a big purpose, and then it might then include small bits inside of it. Our everyday life. What am I meant to be doing every day? Am I meant to be there? Am I meant to be here? And that helps us in setting our priorities. So my first advice is about awareness. Awareness of purpose, awareness of understanding why you are here. And then how do you find it out? A couple of ways. If we're talking about our God-given purpose, we're asking, so therefore we've put God in front of it. So the person that can tell us is God. So we've got to find a way to connect ourselves to Him. It's easier for us to say, somebody like me to answer and say, you've got to pray. And once you pray, not just opening your mouth to ask, you've got to be sensitive and find a way to receive. Again, depending on the environment, when I'm in environment, maybe if you're religious environment that you might be, you might have counselors, you might have prophets, you might have mentors, again, spiritual mentors that you can then work together to make sure that, okay, I need to find this. Temptation that viewers shouldn't fall into is to say, what do I enjoy? For me, it's not particularly about what you enjoy. Or temptation as well is to say, I've got these skills. Temptation, that's a big temptation as well. So it's not necessarily about skills, because sometimes you might find your purpose and then you need a training to develop the skills and competencies to be able to fulfill your purpose. So we shouldn't fall into the temptation in the world today, I think, of thinking, oh, it's something I must enjoy. It's something that I currently have the skills, or I currently have the ability or competencies to be able to do, because it may be none of those. And once we do that, I think we're on the journey. And don't let anybody deceive us that once you found it, that's the end. Like I said, it's just a big part of a puzzle. It's just a journey, and you keep finding out every day, how do I model it? How do I solve the challenge of marrying it to my everyday life? Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Ayo.
Thank you too.
I like what you said, that finding your purpose is just the beginning.
It is.
It's just the beginning.
It is.
But every day is about the process.
Like I gave you the example is what. So I left my job, for example. I relocated. So the question is how. You've come here. You know that big answer. But again, is how. In this new environment, how? What do you need to do? So it's not just knowing it. It's far beyond knowing. It's good to know it, to be aware and to know it. But then every day it's about, because you might then find yourself in Iraq. If I find myself in Iraq, the question is, how then do I fulfill, how then do I make this happen? What should I do to be able to sell this out and to be able to make money, if possible, out of it? So there's a lot of questions every day, and it's a complex subject, but again, it's possible.
Amen. Ayo, thank you very much.
Thank you, Blessing, for
being
having
with
me.
us.
Thank you. Thank you.